It's budget day here in the European Parliament in Strasbourg. We've been looking through the proposals, and indeed the European Parliament have been voting for what the European budget for 2018 is going to look like. Joining me is Marco Zanni and Stephen Woolfe to chew over the details. Marco, give me your thoughts on what the budget looks like and some key highlights for you.
It's the fourth budgetary procedure that I'm following during that I have followed during this term. So to me, it seems that the European Commission and the European Parliament have the same storytelling about the budget. They are asking member states more money in order to finance useless budgetary lines. For example, I will make a couple of examples that are: first one, the European Commission is asking more money for the marketing propaganda that they will do before or in campaign during the 2019 European elections. So they're asking more money in order to say and to tell people that the European Union is good, that the European Union is the best option for them.
So your highlight would be that there's more money being spent on wasteful projects or projects which are ineffective.
That one is just propaganda because the results of the European Union are clear to anyone, and the support for the European Union, and that was shown by the Eurobarometer poll that was published last week by the European institution. The support for the European Union is dropping in a lot of countries around Europe. So the European Commission is asking more money for marketing campaign, for propaganda, in order to counterbalance this trend in the European institution. And the other point is that administrative expenses of the European Parliament are increasing and approaching 2 billion per year. This is not acceptable.
Now, Stephen, you're obviously, as a UK MEP, is looking at what the UK will perhaps be contributing in the budget. What's your thoughts on it? Is it a wasteful exercise in terms of, you know, the amount that they're asking in the increase?
I think there's a huge amount of waste, and I've met many MEPs here today who've said that once Britain has left the European Union, there will be a great opportunity, or there should be a great opportunity, for the European Parliament to try and row back on the amount of money that they're spending. Marco is right, there's some really big numbers out there, and my take on this is that between the two aspects, the commitments and the payments, there's been an increase in the amount of commitments from both the Council and the Parliament. And it seems to me that what they're saying is, Britain made commitments in 2014, which we hadn't yet thought about. So we've decided to increase the budget across the spectrum to try and take as much of the UK money right now before they leave.
Now, what obviously the EU would say, and indeed your MEPs that would support this, is that, well, the ambitions of the European Union is you know, expansionist, more integration, more, you know, ambitious projects, and naturally they're going to need more resources, and so it's a necessary component of the European Union thriving, is giving more money.
Of course, and there's always going to be that balance between the organisations that say it should be done centrally here by the Commission rather than the nation states who have a better idea of what's happening down below. But I just take a look at some of the numbers. I mean, I've got here in front of me a preparatory action for world bridge tourism, and they want 1.8 million on that. Or as Marcus said, there's 800 million going towards the communications budget. I mean, what are you spending huge sums like that for? Or the billions that I like in particular is one that says they want 2.7 billion to be the best in space, like the, you know, as though they want the race in space. They're going to be up there leading the charge in space of what, against the Martians, against the Uranians, whatever you've got.
Well, I mean, so Marco, in terms of what you wanted to see in this budget, and indeed what you were pushing for, are you looking for efficiency savings to be found, but you're looking effectively for cuts?
Yeah, I mean, the first point is that we are not able to assess the effectiveness of our budgetary line. We don't have instruments for a performance-based budgeting. So we have not instrument to say youth guarantee, the billions that we are spending in youth guarantee instruments are creating 1 million jobs. We don't have this instrument. So the first question is, how can we create a performance-based budgeting? The second question is to assess why member states are asking the European Commission and the European Parliament to decrease commitments, because the initial demand by the Council is to cut the budget. So if member states that are the space of real democracy, that's not the European Parliament or European institution, it's national states, are saying we don't want to give a lot of money or to increase the money that we send to Brussels, there should be a motivation, and the motivation is that they don't perceive the European Union and the European budget as something that brings results in terms of jobs, growth, and prosperity.